Jill, let's start with you. Important to note, several legal steps before a defendant is considered indicted. Walk us through those steps. And if there is indeed an indictment, how do you expect Trump to proceed?
Let me start with that second part of it, which is if he is indicted, I expect him to self-surrender. He will not be arrested. As he said, illegal leaks say that I'm going to be arrested on Tuesday. I guarantee you there will be no arrest procedure and that the only leaks came from him. In terms of the process, the grand jury will determine, based on the facts and the law as explained to them by the DA, whether to indict or not. Once he's indicted and the arrangements are made for him to surrender, he will be fingerprinted, he will have a mugshot taken, and an arraignment will be arranged. I also don't expect that there will be any bail required, that he'd be released on his own recognizance, but there may be some restrictions on his activities. Speech is not normally restrained, but in this case where he has basically said protest, and we know that based on January 6th that the protest can be deadly, there may be some restriction on his ability to use social media for that purpose. And then a trial date will be set and discovery will be had and there will be a trial. And under all the rules of due process that he is entitled to, the evidence will be presented. And I think that based on what we have seen so far, that there is a very strong case and a very high probability that he would be convicted.
All right, we're going to come back to that question. I promise, Hugo, it strikes me that on Friday we had NBC News reporting that multiple law enforcement agencies were preparing for the possibility. Tell me what your sources are telling you about what that could look like.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually in response to that NBC report that Trump went to Truth Social and decided he was going to send out a post. I think it kind of reflects the anxiety in Trump world right now, and especially with Trump himself. You know, they like to make a big point about how, this is going to help his campaign, it's going to bring in campaign financing dollars. It probably will. But I think there is an element here where Trump is genuinely afraid. And the fact that he's going on Truth Social and now calling for protests, I think that is something that law enforcement is going to take very seriously. We've heard already that the Secret Service is taking that very seriously. They don't want a repeat of January 6th. And the fact that it has basically echoes and undertones of January 6th, I think, has put the Secret Service especially on high alert.
And we're going to be talking with Frank Figliuzzi a little later in the show about the contours of what that preparation looks like. But Jennifer, I want to ask you, you had Michael Cohen saying this about holding Trump accountable earlier today on MSNBC. Take a listen.
Today I was with a friend of mine for lunch. Super bright guy, well-educated. And his comment to me was very similar to what the question that you're asking. How is it that this ticky-tock type of a case is going to be the first impression that we have as Americans for a president to be indicted? First time in U.S. history. Again, the answer is the law is the law. The same way under the Al Capone theory. They couldn't get him for murder, racketeering, extortion. They couldn't get him for bootlegging or any of the other crimes. They got him for this because, rest assured, Alvin Bragg is not making a mistake.
Jennifer, I want to know if you agree with that analysis, but I also want to make sure I get you in on what we have heard from Republicans, from Kevin McCarthy to Mike Pence.
Well, starting with that, it's reprehensible. They know exactly what happened on January 6th. They know that this is a call to their most extreme supporters. Now, I think they're going to be badly disappointed because many of those supporters are in jail right now. This has not been building. There's no big lead up to organize this. So whatever protests break out, I certainly hope and expect would be very sporadic and very small. So he may be embarrassed, frankly, after having called for people to protest. As far as McCarthy and the others, it is really reprehensible. They certainly know, what has transpired before. Are they joining in inciting a riot? My goodness, Mike Pence was the one whose life was put in jeopardy. And he's the one who is now trying to suggest that this is a political prosecution that is somehow improper in some fashion. So all of those Republicans who are speaking out are really acting just as they did on January 6th, which is spanning a lie, inciting potential violence, showing contempt for the law. And it really is reprehensible. Nancy Pelosi put out a statement to that effect, and I would hope that the Senate Majority Leader and the the House Minority Leader do as well. And I would hope that law enforcement responds that it is never appropriate to use violence or to try to intimidate prosecutors.
Before I pivot to Georgia, which I am desperate to do, Hugo, because I want to remind us all that we have sort of multiple avenues here to accountability. You had some new reporting this week about prosecutors in New York.
Yeah, so we learned that the Southern District of New York, the U.S. Attorney's Office there, was investigating Trump's social media company, or the parent company, Trump Media, and what they were looking at was potential money laundering, because there was $8 million in emergency loans that Trump Media got in 2021 and 2022 that appeared to have ties back to Russia. And the ties basically is, if you go through the people who control these various offshore entities, it goes back to a relation of a Putin ally called Alexander Smirnov. He's now currently the head of Rosneft in Kaliningrad in Russia, and he is a close ally of Vladimir Putin. And from what we understand, after the U.S. Attorney's Office here in New York got a tip, they started investigating those payments.